name is Danny, and if you want to see a kid that doesn't know anything complete a motor swap when people tell him he couldn't, you're in the right place. Let's go. Welcome back, finally. This is part one. If you guys are new, hit that like button. We actually built a twin turbo 350Z with a VR30 motor on this channel. Actually, before you do, comment below what is your dream motor. 2J, RB. If you had a blank canvas, aka a car with no motor, what would you throw in it? Let me know down below. But let's get started. First things we had to do was, just like a puzzle or Legos, we had to put the front and back together. We finally got the start on the VR350Z. Oh, the alternator light isn't on. Woo! Let's go. You can hear everything, bro. I don't think you guys can hear me. We don't have power steering. And well, there's one thing left to do. Well, a couple things. Obviously, radiator. What do you call this? Heater core? Core support, radiator, heat exchanger, which I'm gonna bring on in a little bit. But yeah, aside from that, I think that's pretty much everything we have to do. Obviously, we gotta run all the coolant lines, coolant pump, all the whole cooling system we have to do, aside from putting the headlights and everything back into place. But aside from that, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna start with the front end, kind of mock everything up. We are missing a few hoses here for the coolant, which I have to find myself. We also gotta start routing the blow-off valves. All right, enough talking. Ooh, look at this. It's a cool looking filter. Motor mount bolts, clean hardware. I feel like this part of the build is basically like putting a puzzle back together, but I'm super dirty. Look at this bag full of like bolts and stuff. And what I love about Nissan is all the bolts are pretty much the same. You know it's official when you remove the straps from the engine. The engine is officially 100% in. It's bolted down. We already did the motor mounts. Literally put the whole core support on. Everything's bolted down. Headlights, everything. We still have room for the radiator, obviously. Wait, no, I'm an idiot. I figured something out. I'm gonna take out the fans, install the radiator, then put the fans on when the radiator's off or when the radiator's already on the car. Oh, I'm such an idiot. Got it done. And I was worried that there was no space, but I don't know what that guy was talking about. That's how much space we have here. And if we look at my 370Z, we have pretty much the same amount of space that we do over there. So I do need a 370Z top coolant hose because this is the one from the 350Z and there's no way this makes it. I mean, yeah, this started off kind of slow, but we made pretty damn good progress today. For a car to drive for over a minute, you gotta do the whole cooling system. So now we gotta move on to the plumbing. So basically we had to route all the coolant lines that cooled down the car and the turb skis. Now, it wasn't fun. And if you're wondering, this is the coolant sensor for the heat exchanger. This one's the one that allows the car to know what temperature it's at. If you don't have this sensor, the car's gonna read way too cold to the point where it's gonna go into lit mode. I've been kind of everywhere, like in my head, and just Googling everything because I don't have the diagram for the cooling system. And I'm trying to figure out how everything goes, and I'm like trying to kind of make a diagram in my head of how everything works. But basically, I think I gotta figure it out. I believe we can mount this pump somewhere here, or maybe we can mount it, no. Okay, either way, we're gonna figure out where to mount this, maybe down there. But this is basically a coolant pump. It's weird. First time hearing about it as well. We also have the heat exchanger over there, which I'm gonna show you guys in a little bit. We have to go to Home Depot. We gotta buy T-fittings because there's a part where two hoses connect, and then we need a T-fitting up to the reservoir, one of the reservoirs. So we gotta go ahead and start gathering parts. Man, that actually looks pretty damn good. Alright, diagram. So this is the top of the engine where the two intercoolers are, right? One hose goes down here into the pump. One hose goes from the pump, the top hose for the heat exchanger, tees off into this side of the cooler, and then I need another T for it to go to the reservoir. I believe this is how it is. If it's not, I'm an idiot. Wait, this is kind of like a face, like eyes. This is teeth. The next hose goes from up here all the way down into the backside of the pump back here, and then the hose from down here is gonna go in here, right up in here, up onto this one, and then up onto the reservoir. How are we gonna sneak this boy up there? Oh, right here. Oh, that's easy. Then now the bottom one is gonna go into here with the sensor that we already got put on. Go wild, girl. Go wild. Just ran into... Okay, there's two ways I can see this. One, it's kind of bad, and two, it's pretty bad. I'm gonna have to figure this out. These are the OEM coolant reservoirs from Nissan or Infiniti, whatever. Here's the problem I'm running into. I was told I should get an HR or VHR radiator and radiator fans, and now I can see why. If I try to put the reservoirs where they should be, Oh, that fits. Look at that. Let's go. Yes. Everything fits literally perfect. Wow. I mean, I know I'm doing it with one hand, but like, look at that. Oh yeah, my boy. So now I just gotta think of like how I can set up a little braccaroni, a little brank, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna lie, I mean, that came out pretty decent. Look at that. Nuts not touching in the back, everything. That looks very good. So I think there's kind of like an overflow. I'm not too sure, but it doesn't carry as much as this. This one's gonna have 2 brackets. You guys already saw how I routed the hoses. This is pretty much how everything's looking in here. I mean, the space is definitely not bad. There isn't a lot of space, but there's a good amount of space. There's a better look at the T I was talking about earlier. So one of the hoses from the T goes into the intercoolers. Then the bottom side of the T goes into this coolant reservoir. And then that hose comes out of the bottom side of the intercooler or the heat exchanger. I know these clamps look ugly, but bear with me. We're probably gonna go ahead and change all this out. I just really want everything running before I start making everything permanent. So what does a car need to literally be able to drive? Transmission needs to be connected to the differential. There you go. You got that right. Good job, Johnny. So now we gotta set up the shifter, drive shaft, all that good stuff. Wasn't too hard. Wasn't fun, but it wasn't hard. This was the answer to my problems. The 370Z mount does not work. The mount that goes with the 350Z is this one. I believe it goes like this. This goes in here, and then these two go mounted into the transmission. And there's a bolt that goes through here. This is where the build got a little frustrating. To find the 350Z mount and the cross member was a pain. We even got scammed by this guy right here. Sent him the money, never received the mount, and he even blocked me. So go ahead, send him a nice message for me. Bam, bam, clutch line, finito. The funnest part of all this was what we're gonna do next, which is the blow-off valves. We already installed them when the motor was out, but we had to route the vacuum lines and whatnot, which was an absolute nightmare. Look at me, nightmare. Horrific, horrendous. My hood just cracked. I heard something crack. Oh my goodness. I got one now. Oh my god. How am I gonna get that? I think I can get it from the bottom. I'm literally giving my transmission a bear hug right now. It's hilarious. Here we go. Oh my gosh, I actually got it. Oh, it fell down. No, I still got it here. Oh my gosh, this little freaking vacuum line. It goes from the bottom of the manifold right into that metal tube that I got from the bottom. Wow. Let's go. All right, now we gotta put this one on. So finally we finished the blow-off valves. The only thing that was a pain was getting that back there. This is the piece we had to change out. It goes connected all the way back there. And then it tees off to the bottom of the plenum. And then it comes out right here. The hose is going right next to the firewall right here. This is the hose going right next to the firewall. And that hose actually goes into the T that's right here. And one of the hoses from the T goes into this blow-off valve. And then the other one comes back to this blow-off valve. So the car's about to go... What? So the car's good. Radiator's got a lot of coolant. The car was idling for like 15 minutes. It wasn't overheating. But big problem. The pump wasn't pumping coolant to the 2 intercoolers on the top of the engine. This car to bleed is a pain. So yeah, big issue. Not fun. The amount of stress I've went through with this build has been insane. I remember I got all the parts kind of like November, December. Then we had to wait about 2 months for the harness so we can actually get started on the build. This build was really started in January, I guess that you could say. My life has pretty much gone downhill since then. Everything that has been needing to be done to this car is done. We already bled the whole system. The little issue with the pump, it's done. Tranny in, drive shaft in, vacuum line's done. Transmission done, clutch issue fixed, which you had to do a huge change, and you're gonna be seeing that next video. Part 1 of the first drive, finalizing the car, finishing everything is done. Definitely one of the hardest things I've ever done. And to whoever thought I couldn't do it, you can't not believe in the Danny Z fam. We can do anything we put our mind to. Now here's the thing, this video's pretty long. That's why this part 1. Part 2, we drive the car. That was a truck, and I never want to hear it again. Wow, that was bad. Come back for part 2. Let's go! Woo! Oh, and I have a really big surprise in part 2, so you might want to come back if you want to see what the build is gonna look like. Just saying, it's pretty big. I'm just saying.